welcome, welcome, welcome. We're live. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to continue our journey of Surya Namaskar. But today we're going to focus on introducing Virabhadrasana 1, or warrior pose, and go through the different actions in Virabhadrasana 1 that can help bring energy and life into your body and into the posture. And just a reminder, the alignment cues, the actions, they're not meant to create perfection. They're really meant to help us go into our body and help settle our mind. That's the tool of the actions. And to plug us in, to help bring the energy up and throughout our entire body. But let's go ahead and start with a breath. Sitting in Sukhasana or in a chair, nice comfortable seated position. Legs supported on blocks if you need them, on a nice blanket or bolster. Wherever you're at, wherever you're sitting, taking your mind into where your body is touching the floor. And maybe allowing what's touching the floor to become heavy and rooted, as if you're plugging in to the earth. And maybe you can tilt your pelvis just a little forward or a little back, and see if you can find the center of your sitting bones, where it feels like you're upright on the center of your sitting bones. And then your spine nice and straight, crown of the head resting over the pelvis, over the heart. You can rest your hands, palms up or palms down, on your legs, on your knees. If you would like to create more opening across your chest, you can take your hands a little further back, or maybe you rest them in your lap. Try it both always and see what feels more settling to you. What do you need more at this moment in time? Sometimes when we're going through times of change, times of transformation, we can almost feel like our feet might be 2 or 3 inches off the ground. And how do we come back down? How do we plug back in to where we are? We do that by coming into the body. How do you know you have a body? What's touching the floor? And you focus there, you root. So taking your mind's eye into your sitting bones and whatever else is touching the ground. Imagining those areas are heavy. And then closing the eyes, turning your attention toward observing the quality of the breath. What is the quality of your breath today, right now, in this moment? Is it smooth? Is it gentle? Is it long? And when we do this, when we point our attention onto the quality of our breath, 2 things happen. One is that the breath automatically begins to smooth, become gentle, and lengthen. And with practice, the other thing that happens is we begin to become aware and to be able to sense the energy that is connected to our inhale and our exhale. So we can observe the breath, the qualities of the breath. And we can also observe the breath as a white golden light moving from the base of our spine on inhale to the crown of our head. And on exhale, seeing that light coming back down into the earth. A few breaths in observation. And then we can make the choice to take control of our breath, smoothing it in and out through our nose to a count of 5 or 6, or whatever is comfortable for you. Using the quality of effortless ease. Using a quiet Ujjayi breath, we can open and close the aperture in the back of our throat to help us in smoothing and lengthening our breath comfortably. Allowing that sound to help settle us. And that sound becomes audible to only you. It's not so loud that anyone around you can hear it, but just audible enough that you can. And you stretch the breath on inhale as it begins as a fine taper and then begins to grow in the middle of the inhale. And then before you get to the pause, it starts to taper again, where you come to the moment of transition between inhale and exhale and exhale and inhale. Take your mind to that moment. Notice the smoothness of the transition and the pause in between. And then the exhale begins. And down it goes. Through your sitting bones, plugging into the earth on exhale. And then the inhale rises naturally up your spine into your upper back, across your collarbone, out the crown of your head. And exhale, the breath goes back down. Letting the exhale come through us and plug us into our grounded state through our sitting bones, through whatever is touching the earth. And on inhale, we allow the breath to fill us in an expansive state. A few breaths like this, in and out through the nose. At a count that's comfortable for you, with an even inhale and an even exhale. Inhale, the breath goes up. Exhale, the breath goes down. And when you're ready, coming back into your body, on your next inhalation, gently and slowly opening your eyes. I love starting class that way. So, like I said, we're going to continue in our journey of Surya Namaskar, focusing on Virabhadrasana 1. We'll be going back and forth quite a bit between our mat and the wall. So find a mat. If you have 2 blocks, get those. And if not, get them. Listen to this video as many times as you need. It's okay. And do the best you can today. So just to review the points of Samastitihi and Utthita Hastasana in Tadasana, go ahead and find, actually you can even take your mat to a place on the wall where you can work. I love using the wall for my home practice because when you don't have a second set of eyes to look at you, the wall has no agenda. It gives you feedback immediately, honest feedback. So let's go ahead and put your back up against the wall, and we'll need 1 block if you have it. Go ahead and put your back up against the wall, heels touching the wall. And you can bring your feet together, or you can have a little distance between them, no more than hip width apart. And it's easy here because your heels will be in one line because they should be touching the wall evenly. And you can take a look at your feet, turn them in or out, whatever you need to do, so that the second toe lines up with the middle of the heel and the middle of the ankle. And then go ahead, bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees ever so slightly, keeping the knee in line with the second toe as well. So the second toe really drives the root through the legs. Remember, this is a blueprint from which to move from. So if anything feels uncomfortable, do what feels best. But I invite you to try it. So bending the knees, keeping the knees in line with the second toe, keeping that action of the shin bones moving forward. Really, this is a study of how the shin bones move in action in your asana practice. So shin bones energetically moving forward, we're going to press through our feet evenly through the 4 corners, and like we don't want to, take our thighs back to straight. Give your thighs something to push back against. Mati used to say it was a disease in the yoga community because so many people hyperextend their knees. So if you're taking your legs too far back, you can hyperextend because there's nothing keeping yourself from blowing out in the back of your knees. So keep a forward motion of your shin bones moving forward and feel what that does to the grounding and rooting feeling you get in your feet. Your feet are plugged in. You have found your root. It's very grounding. And it's not easy. So we're going to take the base knuckles of our thumb and just review the pelvis. So the wall is good here because you can see, is my pelvis tilted too far forward that I have a big gap? Or am I tucked so that my back is kind of flat to the wall? You want to find a happy medium here. So find the 3 points of your pelvis, base knuckles of the thumb on your frontal pelvic bones, index finger on the pubic bone, and position your pelvis either forward or back until those 3 points are on one plane. And when they're on one plane, you'll notice your natural lumbar arch. Some people have more lumbar arch than others. And now, take your pinkies to your frontal pelvic bones, your thumbs to your bottom ribs, and see if you can get the bottom ribs to go from jutting out to softening toward our frontal pelvic bones so that our kidney areas are full to the wall. A lot of the times, because our body wants to get our head in a state of equilibrium in our body as we walk, to emulate an open chest, people will open their chest, but they'll be breaking in their thoracolumbar junction. So to keep the intrathoracic pressure in your thoracic cavity even, you want to remember, don't blow out in your solar plexus. Keep your solar plexus stacked over your pelvic chakra. And you can think of the pelvis as the feminine part of the female body. It does make an inverted triangle. And the bottom ribs is the solar plexus, the masculine, the sun. And so you want those two balanced and aligned. So the challenging part is rooting through your feet, strong legs, shin bones moving forward, pelvis in neutral. The 3 points are parallel with the wall in front of you. And then the side hips ever so slightly firm in, like these two frontal pelvic bones want to come toward each other, toward the midline of your body. Back body in the kidney area, full against the wall. See if you can keep this full. And you can see on me when I do that, I want to curve here. See if you can keep your kidney areas full and take your shoulder heads back while broadening your collarbone. Looking straight ahead, reaching down with your fingertips, chin parallel with the floor, finding length at the crown of your head. And I'm going to do this without blocks to begin. Go ahead and bring your hands out in front of you, clasp your thumbs, and then straighten your arms, reach out through your fingertips, and then energetically pull your thumbs apart so that pulling apart of your thumbs help energize your arms. It helps get the tricep and the bicep to hug the bone. And you can play around here. You can go out of the arm socket with your arms and see what that does to your neck. And then you can bring them back. So we want to bring them back and keep the kidney area full. Looking straight ahead, smoothing your breath, relaxing your face. Inhale, coordinating the movement with the breath. Begin to raise the arms. Stop if you feel like your arms want to bend or your neck begins to crunch. So move slowly here, or you feel like the bottom ribs want to come out. So return the kidney areas back to the wall, keeping the pelvis neutral, and work slowly and intelligently. Start bringing the arms overhead. So you have 3 parameters. Stop when your arm starts to bend. Stop when your neck starts to crunch. And stop if you feel the kidney areas begin to remove themselves from the wall behind you. And this is good work for me because I tend to go a little too forward with my arms. This gives me feedback to say, okay, go ahead, take them back just a little further. few smooth, gentle breaths, pressing through your feet, mind in your pelvis, mind in your chest. Find the smooth breath on exhale, rooting through your feet. And on inhale, feel the breath move from your inner heels up into your inner thighs, into your pelvis, up your spine, across your back. And when it gets to the top of your back, your collarbone broadens. Maybe, maybe not. You begin to look toward your thumbs. And then return your gaze forward. Palms facing each other. Inhale one more time here. Maybe go back a little further with your arms. Exhale, hands to the side. So the wall is our teacher in our home practice. The quickest way for progress is feedback. And the wall is honest feedback. So let's go ahead and flip so that you're facing the wall now. And we're going to warm up our chest and our arms a little more, and we're going to emulate chaturanga. So standing toward the wall, and get far enough back that you can comfortably put your palms as best as you can flat to the wall. 90-degree angle here. So the wrist stacks under the elbow's in line with the shoulder. Shoulders back as best as they can. And we can, since in modified Surya Namaskar, we're omitting the full expression of chaturanga, we can begin to add chaturanga to prepare for adding it back into our practice, or we could just work on it in a safe way, because this is not necessarily easy. So the same alignment cues, the same actions, feet about hip width apart, shin bones resisting forward, thighs back, pelvis neutral. And feel that you have a lift of your pelvis, and you meet that lift with a little bit of tilt until those 3 points are on one plane with this wall. And your side hips firm. And then placing your hands as best as you can flat on the wall. And you can turn out your hands a little bit so that the index finger is pointing straight to the ceiling, or this area between your index finger and middle finger is pointing up. See which way you like best. If you have tight shoulders, it's usually helpful to turn out just a little bit so that your index finger is pointing straight ahead. Elbows close to the body. Filling our kidney areas with our breath, broadening our collarbone, allowing our shoulder heads to go back. Finding length at the crown of the head, we look straight to the wall in front of us and we smooth our breath. On exhale, we press down through our feet, we root into the earth. And on inhale, we feel the breath bounce back up through our spine, out the crown of our head. Keeping our mind in our pelvis, our mind in our heart, as we hold the pose and we breathe. Pressing through the index finger. See if you can keep your ribs softening toward your frontal pelvic bones, and take your shoulder blades into the front part of your body. See if you can get your sternum to rise from the inside out the crown of your head. We don't want to do this. We don't want to dump here. We want to keep everything in line, and it's a subtle coiling action. A few more breaths like this. And on your next exhalation, go ahead and release. Let's try Utthita Hastasana and Tadasana against the wall with a block. And if you don't have a block, just pretend like you do. So standing up nice and tall. Finding the root through your legs, making sure your feet are pressing evenly through the four corners. And let's take a little time with our feet. As you're pressing down through the four corners of your feet, see if you can just energetically hug your outer ankles in so that the inner heels press down. And then take the inner heels pressing down and see if you can separate your inner heels against your outer ankles coming in. It's very subtle, but if you can get all of that and follow along, you will feel how much power it brings to your legs. Pelvis neutral, kidney areas full, shoulder heads back, looking straight ahead. And with your arms here, I want you to press into the block evenly with your palm and all 5 base knuckles. So position the block so that the entire palm is on the block. And you'll find that when you press into the block evenly, that it helps engage the muscles to the bone. And take a look at your arms here. This is your arms in their neutral position. So sometimes when we start to take them over the head, they begin to internally rotate, or maybe our elbows bend. So if you are pressing evenly through a block, and if you don't have a block, imagine that you have a block. And so your arms are reaching out and you're pressing through your imaginary block or your real block, and your palm is broad. It's not sickled, it's broad, like it's flat, like it is pushing up against the block. And then inhale, stop when your arms begin to bend. Inhale here, out through your fingertips, looking straight ahead. Forearms, outer upper arms, hug toward the bone. And then on your next exhalation, slowly and gently, letting the block come back down. And we'll go ahead and flip it face to the wall. We'll do one more wall chaturanga. I have to turn off this alarm. I think I turned it off. So come to the wall, hopefully positioning yourself so that your heels are directly under your sitting bones. You're a little bit away from the wall. Working on our chaturanga, pressing the wall away. Elbows heavy, elbows close to the body. Re-engage the legs. If you feel like your legs are sleepy, go ahead and practice shifting your shin bones forward and then taking your thighs back. Side hips firm. Frontal pelvic bones start gently turning toward each other. Keeping the bottom ribs soft. See if you can get the base of your neck to move down your spine. Smooth your breath. Relax your face, relax your jaw. One more breath here. Exhale, let it go. Very good. And now, I'm going to introduce Virabhadrasana on the wall, but I want to warm up a little bit with some modified sun salutations. And we're going to practice stepping forward in the lunge position within our modified Surya Namaskar. So go ahead, come to the front of your mat. Our shoulders should be nice and ready for down dog. Find your samasthiti, your 0 point, the place we move from and return to, just like we did on the wall, pressing through our feet. Shin bones, giving our thighs something to push back against. Side hips firm, back of the body broad, collarbone broad. Finding length at the crown of our head, looking straight ahead. 1 point. Palms facing forward. Inhale, big wide circle, coordinating the movement with the breath. Bring your hands overhead. And if you can bring your hands together comfortably, then go ahead and begin to look up at your thumbs. Exhale, folding at the hips, bending the knees if you need to, keeping the knees in line with the second toe. Bring your hands to the ground. Inhale, look a little forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step back, both legs into plank. We're going to work plank here. So we want the shoulders over the wrists. And as best as you can, we don't want our heels to be forward or behind our toes. We want them to be as best as we can, like they're up against a wall. And we don't want to be saggy. We want to lift our chest and abdomen away from the mat and take our sternum forward without dumping. A few breaths. And on your next inhalation, slowly and gently, bring your knees to the ground. Look a little forward. And on exhale, start bending the elbows into the modified chaturanga. Hold the modified chaturanga for a second or two, then lower into the ground. Keep your butt up in the air. And then inhale forward. Find a baby cobra. Engaging your thighs. Pressing through the tops of your feet. Outer ankles, power your feet. So you hug the outer ankles in and press the pinky toes down just as much as the big toe. The feet are important. They're our roots. They give us something from which to grow out of. So as we press down through our feet, we bring energy to our thighs, and the upper inner thigh moves up, and we take our butt flesh heavy. We take our butt flesh out of our lumbar toward our heels, and we find length out the crown of our head. You can rest your head here, your forehead on the ground or your mat. I like to lift it just a little bit so that the crown of the head is in line with the spine. Collarbone broadened and the shoulder heads away from the ground. Take a few breaths here. This is worth 100 chaturangas, Mati would say. And so on your next exhalation, curl your toes under, press up, passing through tabletop, and let your thighs take you up and back into down dog. Use down dog to smooth your breath, squeezing your arms straight, pressing evenly through the palm and all 5 base knuckles. Bottom ribs moving toward our frontal pelvic bones. And then to check the distance, go ahead, inhale into a plank. Measure, measure. It's worth the time. And then exhale back down. And then if you have blocks, this would be a good time to get them, because we're going to find length through our side bodies. Inhale, look a little forward. Come up onto your toes. Keep the height in your abdomen and chest. Don't dump. Keep it lifted and long, like your sit bones are going to touch where the wall and the ceiling meet. So not to the ceiling, like that. It's a big difference. And then look a little forward. On your next inhalation, step your right leg near your right hand and land it so that the knee lands over the right ankle. And the back foot, the heel, lands over the toes. So even in lunge, we don't want this. We don't want this. Bring power to your back leg by giving it a stopping point, like you're pushing up against the wall. Don't let it move past being stacked over your toes. So the back leg is straight, pressing through your inner heel to help release your upper inner thigh toward the ceiling. A few breaths here. Letting the weight of the right leg rest and fall and root down through the middle of your heel. Right hip firms in, frontal pelvic bones lift, and you find length out the crown of your head. And then, preparing to step back into plank, get a good plank here. Make your butt heavy, but don't dump. Make it heavy, but it's heavy against your back leg, not heavy like this. The back leg stays lifted, and it gives your butt something to be heavy against. And then, you can just step your right leg back, find your plank, exhale, down dog. Find your breath here. Smooth your respirations, get composure. And then keeping all the height through your side bodies. Look a little forward. And step your left foot near your left hand. Stack the knee over the ankle. Find a little height. Either come up onto your fingertips or use blocks. Don't put too much weight into your hands. Work the legs here. So remembering that when we stack the knee over the ankle, and when the knee is bent, that the shin bone no longer energetically resists forward, it resists back. I'm going to repeat it. When the knee is bent, the energy of the shin bone then starts to resist back. Not back, but back against an imaginary boundary. Left hip hugs in, frontal pelvic bones lift, and like you're doing a plank, abdomen and chest lifted and sternum forward. Breathing here. And so we take this as a warm-up for Virabhadrasana. Same front leg as lunge. Preparing to step back into plank, looking a little forward. Left foot back, find your plank. Mind in your arms, keeping them straight, not letting them roll in or out, or your elbows bend. Slowly let your thighs take you up and back into down dog. And then look a little forward. Walk or jump your feet to your hands. Look a little forward. Exhale, fold forward, resisting the shin bones now. Resisting the shin bones forward, side hips firm, strong legs, leading with your sternum. Inhale, big wide circle, bring your hands overhead, pinky touches index finger, and then you gaze at your thumbs. Exhale, keeping all that height, bring your hands to your side. Let's do that one more time. Are you guys warmed up yet? I'm definitely warm. It's much more of a challenge to move slowly through sun salutation, finding samasthiti. Maybe you need to catch your breath. Exhale, release your hands to your side, picking one point to look straight ahead. Finding your root through your feet, mind in your pelvis, mind in your heart. Kidney area is full, collarbone broad, long and tall at the crown of your head. Palms facing forward. Inhale, big, wide circle. Let the breath help you raise your arms up. Maybe, maybe not. You look at your thumbs. Exhale, stepping through your feet, strong legs, side hips firm. Bring your hands to the mat, looking at your shin bones. Inhale, coil your chest forward, look a little forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step back, plank. As best as you can, like you're up against the wall. Abdomen and chest resisting away from your mat. Forearms pull toward each other. And the weight is even across the palm and all 5 base knuckles. And then inhale, knees to the ground. Abdomen and chest resisting gravity. Exhale, start shifting your weight forward. Bending your elbows, really, there's no shift. You're just bending. And then you bring your chest all the way down, elbows up. Inhale, forward. Find your baby cobra. Remembering here that as we establish our cobra tail, pressing our feet down, outer ankles in, pinky toes down, thighs up, butt heavy, that we then use that root to find length in our spine. So it's not so much about going up as it is, because you can go up, 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 but we really want to go long. Collarbone broad, shoulder heads away from the floor. And then pressing up through tabletop or straight legs. Exhale, down dog. Looking straight ahead. Exhale, grow long out the side bodies, out your sit bones. And on inhale, walk or jump your feet to your hands. Look a little forward. Exhale, fold forward. Stepping through your feet, strong legs, straight spine, big wide circle. Hands come up overhead. Exhale, hands down. Definitely warmed up. So let's go back to the wall. We warmed up our psoas. Pretty good. And let's work on the finer details of Virabhadrasana 1, and then we'll go back. But let's start. Since Virabhadrasana is part of Surya Namaskar B, let's go ahead and employ the wall one more time to help you learn even more what it feels like when your shin bone is moving back in some of the other poses of Surya Namaskar B. So Utkatasana, chair pose. So go ahead, back up against the wall. You'll have to walk your feet out a little bit. Start sliding down the wall. So as best as you can, and I can't see myself, so I'm going to imagine that it's about there. You want as best as you can a 90-degree angle, feet hip-width apart. Just like we're standing in Samastitihi or Tadasana, we want Tadasana, Samastitihi feet. Okay, so hip-width apart, outer ankles hug in, press down through your inner heel as even as your outer heel. Find the four corners of your feet. And then because our knees are bent, the knees don't go forward. They resist back. And we take our mind into our pelvis, and we make sure that even here It's in neutral position, so it's not dumped. It's not too rounded. It's upright. The 3 points of the pelvis are on one plane. You have your natural lumbar here. Kidney area is full, collarbone broad, shoulder heads. And I think I can step out a little bit, maybe go a little bit down. Shoulder heads toward the wall. And then clasp your thumbs like this. Pick one point to look at and breathe. If your thighs are burning, focus on your breath. And then inhale. See if you can keep the kidney areas close to the wall and raise your arms while looking forward. And breathe. And then on your next inhalation, slowly slide up the wall as you begin to straighten your legs. Palms face each other. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your hands down. That was hard. Let's do it one more time. So the point of that is to introduce Utkatasana, chair pose, which is the way we begin Surya Namaskar B. But it's also so you can get a good idea of what it feels like when your shin bones resist back and the weight of your legs are in the middle of your heel, okay? And then when we are in Utkatasana, and Virabhadrasana, when we start to bring our hands up and over our head, how this does not serve us. We want to keep our thoracolumbar junction from collapsing. We want to take the breath up into our lungs evenly. Okay. Smooth, gentle respirations. Let's go back. And so if you know where your feet were, then you're in a good spot. Remember, we're looking for, as best as we can, a 90-degree angle. So if I don't have a 90-degree angle, I apologize. I feel like I do. So go ahead. Start bending your knees. And you don't have to be all the way down into a 90-degree angle. This is work enough. But even here, feel the four corners of your feet. Outer ankles hugging in, weight on the center of the heel, shin bone resist back, frontal pelvic bone still lifting, kidney areas full, shoulders back, looking straight ahead. Inhale, start to raise the arms overhead. And breathe. Keeping your mind in what's touching the ground. Arms straight, breath smooth and gentle. If your thighs begin to burn, take your attention to your breath and to the one point that you're looking at. And then on your next inhalation, slowly sliding up the walls, straightening your leg. Palms face each other. Inhale one more time here. Exhale, hands to the side. Definitely warmed up now. Okay, so we're going to work on Virabhadrasana at the wall. So for this, you definitely need a block. You don't have to have a block. It's nice because you want to feel that backward motion of your shin bone moving away from the wall as we're bent, as the forward leg is bent in Virabhadrasana 1. So take your block like this and put your right foot close enough to the wall but far enough away from the wall. And maybe it won't be in a 90-degree angle in your Virabhadrasana, but that's okay. We're working on form here. And you want to step the left leg back, heels in one line or a little bit more of a distance than heels in one line. If you have trouble with balance here, you can have a little bit more distance, but challenge the 2 heels in one line. And so much like lunge, when the knee is bent, the weight falls in the center of the heel. The shin bone is holding the block, but at the same time, it's resisting the energy back. And so maybe it falls a little bit, and then you know. So get that feeling of pressing down through your foot, shin bone resisting back, right hip hugging in, back leg straight, and you're pressing through the inner heel. The back leg, second toe still stays in line with the knee, so you're not twisting at the knee to try to get your 2 frontal pelvic bones forward. You're allowing that left hip to fall back a little bit. And you work slowly and methodically to get your 2 frontal pelvic bones more forward by lifting the upper inner thigh and unraveling the left butt forward. And then take your hands, your fingertips to the wall, and just like we're in plank, see if you can hold your Virabhadrasana and resist your abdomen and chest away from the wall. And then clasp your thumbs. Inhale, and remembering the way it felt when we brought our hands over our head, when our back was up against the wall, see if you can resist the urge to dump. We want to stay full in our kidneys and take our arms up and take the coiling action in our upper chest to gaze toward our thumbs. One more breath here. Palms face each other. Inhale one more time. Exhale, hands down. Grab your block and switch legs. And so we're getting close enough to the wall but far enough away that the block is staying put. So as you can see, I'm not squaring my hips forward. I'm forgiving, and I can take a little bit of distance here. I'm forgiving this hip out just a little bit. And it's my upper torso area that then turns forward. So my back leg is in Tadasana. So just like lunge, shin bone resists back, left hip firms, lifting on the frontal pelvic bones, kidney area is full. You can bring your fingertips to the wall and work on stepping through your feet, strong legs, lifting the frontal pelvic bone, breathing in your back body, collarbone broad, and finding length at the crown of your head. Can you lift the frontal pelvic bones? Can you challenge the 90-degree angle here while keeping the kidney areas full without collapsing in our thoracolumbar junction? We want to keep that full. And then clasp the thumbs, straighten the arms, mind in the back body. As you inhale, begin to raise the arms. And then take the coiling action in your chest to take your gaze toward your thumbs. And then look straight ahead, palms facing each other. Inhale one more time here. Exhale, hands down. Remove the block, straighten your legs, and walk your feet. So, a little bit of actions in Virabhadrasana. Let's see what it looks like when we put that into a modified Surya Namaskar B. So if I can remember where this was. And I'm just going to do the first parts of Surya Namaskar B a few times. So I'm going to demonstrate first. Maybe some of you guys know Utkatasana. But starting in Samasthiti, looking straight ahead, one breath, one movement, knees bend, arms go overhead. And for a minute, just keep your hands shoulder width apart, palms facing each other as if we had a block there. Shin bones resist back, frontal pelvic bones continue to lift. The instinct is to do this. I can do this till the cows come home. But we don't want to do that because it doesn't serve us. I've lost all energy, all engagement. So we want to resist the shin bones back, look straight ahead, lift the frontal pelvic bones, and keep the kidney areas full and take that coiling action in the upper part of our chest. Palms together if you can, gazing at your thumbs or looking straight ahead. If you feel crunching in your thumbs or in your neck, keep your hands shoulder width apart and look straight ahead. And then slowly pressing through your feet, keeping resistance of your shin bones like you don't want to. Straighten your legs. Exhale, hands down. That was tough. Okay. Let's take a moment. In Samasthiti with Namaskar, finding our breath, finding our composure. We'll do one or two Surya Namaskar Bs. Exhale, hands to your side. One breath, one movement. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, keep your knees bent, forward fold. Bring your hands to the mat and slowly take your legs straight to Uttanasana. Inhale, look a little forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step back, plank. Exhale, push the floor away. Sternum forward. Inhale, knees to the ground, look a little forward. Exhale, start bending your elbows close to the body as best as you can, 90-degree angle. Lower all the way down, chest to the mat. Inhale, forward. Catch your breath in baby cobra. Pressing through the tops of your feet, thighs up, butt flesh heavy, finding length out the crown of your head. Making sure your neck is released. Curling your toes under with straight legs or passing through tabletop. Exhale into down dog. Now turn your left heel near your right foot. Arms straight, finding length out your sit bones. Look a little forward. Turn your left heel near your right foot. But don't do anything weird with your hips. Keep your hips in down dog. It's just a little rotation deep within inside your hip of your femur bone and your knee and your feet turning as one unit. Look a little forward. Keep all that height. And just look a little forward. Step your right foot next to your right hand, trying your best to one straight, smooth step. It doesn't always happen that way. So if you have to help it along. Maybe it takes a few times. And now, find your Virabhadrasana lunge here. So this is our lunge. The only difference is now that our back leg, the heel is down. And so we step through our foot the same way as lunge. Shin bone resists back. Weight on the middle of the heel. Side hip firm, frontal pelvic bones lift. Go ahead and take your thumbs to your butt flesh and help your butt flesh become heavy. Lengthening from your sternum out the crown of your head, pressing through the inner heel. And then on inhale, begin to peel your frontal pelvic bones off of your leg while keeping the right hip firm. Butt flesh heavy, elbows back, looking straight ahead, breathing into your kidney areas, challenging the right angle here. And then inhale, bring your hands overhead, clasp your thumbs. Breathe into your back body and lift your frontal pelvic bones. Breathe into your back body and take your arms back. Breathe into your back body and begin to look at your thumbs. Maybe we come a little further down. And then palms face each other. Inhale one more time here. Exhale, hands down. Left heel turns up, and we find our lunge, which is half of a plank. So prepare to step back into plank here. The entire half body is already in plank, sternum forward, butt heavy, and we just take the right foot back. Exhale, down dog. And if you need to, take a breath here. It's not a race. Take your time. It's actually much more yummier to move slow and methodically through these postures of Surya Namaskar. Now, turn your right heel deep from within the hip, the entire femur, the knee, the shin, the feet, the foot, as one unit turns as you take your right heel next to your left foot. And you pivot on the ball of your foot when you do this. And your hips stay in down dog. Your pelvis stays in down dog. Arms straight. Abdomen and chest lifted. Finding length out your side bodies. Gently look forward toward your left hand. And then on your next inhalation, step your left foot forward. Find your Virabhadrasana lunge, I'm going to call this. Because we're going to work a little bit here. And everybody has one side that's better. This is not my better side. So resisting the shin bone back, stepping through the foot, side hip firms, frontal pelvic bones lift. Take your thumbs to your butt flesh. Help your butt flesh be heavy. You're helping your butt flesh move out of your lumbar. Pressing through the inner heel of the back leg. Upper inner thigh lifts. Find length out the crown of your head. And then inhale, peel your frontal pelvic bones off of your left leg. Challenging the right angle. And we breathe into our kidney areas and keep our collarbone broad, looking straight ahead. We bring our hands overhead, clasp our thumbs, keeping the breath in our upper back. We challenge 90-degree angle and begin to gaze at our thumbs. A few breaths. And then inhale, palms face each other. Exhale, hands to the ground. Flip your right heel up. Find your lunge. Find your half of a plank. Upper body's in a plank position. Butt heavy. Back leg straight. Step your left leg back. Find your plank. Exhale, squeeze your arms straight. Take your thighs up and back, down dog. And breathe. 5 breaths. Inhale, look a little forward. Find all that height. Walk or step, or walk or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold forward, crown of the head heavy. And this is where it starts to change up here. You can bend your knees as much as you need to here. Start working on straightening them if you can. And then one breath, one movement. Bend the knees, begin to take the arms overhead. Shin bones back, frontal pelvic bones lift, kidney area is full. Maybe, maybe not. You look at your hands or you look forward. Utkatasana. Exhale, slowly press to straight. And inhale, hands to your side. So I love that because at the end of your Surya Namaskar B, the breath was kind of reversed, which is fun. So there you have it. We introduced Virabhadrasana 1. I am definitely a little sweaty here. Let's work a little bit on bridge pose, and then we'll cool down. And since I have my 2 blocks, I am going to demonstrate it with the blocks. But if you don't have blocks, just do the best you can. Highly recommend getting 2 blocks, a strap, and a blanket for your home practice. So come onto your back. What did we do? We did two modified Surya Namaskar A's, some lunge, Virabhadrasana, and 1 Surya Namaskar B. So simplicity. Come onto your back, knees bent. And you want your feet far enough away that when we lift up into bridge, that your knees stack over your ankles. So you may have to adjust here. And then position the fleshy area of your shoulder blades down your sticky mat. See if you can get your collarbone to broaden and your shoulder heads to push into the mat. And for now, turn your arms out so that your palms face forward and see if you can get your shoulder heads to root. And then put one palm down and the other palm down. Keeping your upper arms and your forearms where they're at. See if you can keep that and then put your palms down. The floor is also a very good feedback because it doesn't let you go too far in any direction. And then making sure the pelvis is in its neutral position so the 3 points of the pelvis are parallel with the ceiling. Kidney area is full. We're not breaking here. Sometimes getting the shoulder heads to root will cause our bottom ribs to flare, and that's okay. If they flare, just work on softening them back down and getting the kidney areas to come closer. So it's a balancing act. And you can take a block and put it between your feet or in between your knees, just to remind your feet and your knees to not splay out as you push up. So you want to keep your toes in one line, the middle of your heel, and you want your legs to be in a neutral position. You don't want them to externally rotate or splay. So find the root through your arms and through your feet, neutral pelvis, lifting with your frontal pelvic bones straight to the ceiling. Begin to step through your feet, resist your shin bones back as you lift your frontal pelvic bones and the butt flesh moves out of your lumbar toward your knees. So a few things happening here. Shin bone back, just like in Virabhadrasana, just like in lunge. Because our knees are bent, the energy of the shin bones press back. And we meet that resistance by shifting the butt flesh forward. We don't break. This is breaking. I could go on forever. And I'm externally rotating. You don't want to do that. You want to keep form here. Press through your heels, shin bones resist back, butt flesh moves out of the lumbar. And then, from the rooting action of your arm bones pressing into the mat, you start to coil your chest and move your frontal pelvic bones up, not back, up. And breathe. And maybe if you have enough height, you can have robot arms and sneak your thumbs onto your butt flesh. If this is too much, you can just clasp your hands here. But if you have the room, see if you can get your thumbs on the fleshy part of your butt and help your butt flesh out of your lumbar to give even more for your shin bones to press against. Exhale, come down. That was a long hold. I want to go back into it because I want to show you that even here in bridge, you still have Samasthiti foot. Prepare your chest. Make sure your pelvis is in neutral. Stepping through your feet. Take your mind to your feet. Same. Outer ankles hug in, inner heels press down so that the weight is even. And then inhale, start raising the frontal pelvic bones while you're simultaneously moving the butt flesh out of your lumbar toward your knees. Let me show you that one more time. So it's inhale, straight up, not back, not toward this way. Inhale, straight up. And then we take that coiling action into our chest. But even as we take the coiling action in our chest, we're not going to jam it and break in our thoracolumbar, because you could break for days there if you're flexible. We're going to keep this shift happening of our butt flesh out of our lumbar. We're going to keep some softening of our frontal pelvic or our bottom ribs. And we're going to just see if we can take our shoulder blades into the front part of our body to get our sternum to coil. Few breaths. Outer ankles hug in, inner heels press down, shin bones back, butt flesh to the knees, shoulder blades into the front part of the body, and our legs begin to burn. And on your next exhalation, slowly bring your hands to the mat, slowly lower down. remove the blocks. Let's go ahead and grab behind our knees or on top of our knees. You can grasp your wrist. Just hug your knees into the body. Releasing the lower back. Keeping the collarbone broad if you can. Shoulder heads here, even reaching down. Looking in the direction of your knees. And then go ahead, drape your hands over your knees, fingers pointing toward your toes. You flex your feet here just a little bit. Elbows close to the body. Coordinating the movement with the breath. Inhale, straighten your arms. Knees away from the body. Exhale, bend the elbows. Knees close to the body. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale. Coordinating the movement with the breath on your own, just a few breaths like this. Apanasana. And then inhale. Let your feet come to your mat. Let's prepare for Shavasana. If you have a blanket for a pillow, place it just above your shoulders now. Stretch one foot out, flex it. Stretch the other foot out, flex it. Making sure we have a nice pelvis that's flush with the ceiling. Turn out our arms magnificently, giving them a little bit of a bend. Releasing our shoulders away from the ear. Flesh of our shoulder blades tucked into our mat, and we soften the ribs back down. And then on your next exhalation, release your legs. Surrender your breath. Become heavy into your mat, trusting the earth to support you in this moment. As your chest rises and falls, and you can go back to a moment of observing your breath here. How is it different than the beginning of class? How does your body feel? What are the sensations? Allowing on inhale the breath to fill your body. Allowing the breath to go to areas where there might be tension, where there might be unusual sensation. And allowing the breath, like a medicine, to assist those areas to untangle and wash away on exhale. Exhale out, inhale in. Shavasana. I invite you to stay as long as you can in Shavasana, at least 5 minutes. And when you're ready, wiggling your fingers and toes, bend one knee up, the other knee up, and turn to your side, and coil up into a nice fetal position, a nice ball. And just take a moment here, taking the time to pause. And then slowly pushing yourself up to a nice comfortable seated position. Wow. Just sit with it for a minute if you feel called. And then palms facing the ceiling, elbows close to the body. Let your elbows be heavy. Bring your palms together, base knuckle of the thumbs resting on the sternum, fingers together and pointing forward. Take a moment to gently gaze toward your fingertips as a gesture of gratitude for this gift we call the practice of yoga, and as a symbol of surrendering our mind deep into our heart center. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Wishing everybody health, happiness, and a smooth, gentle, long breath during these times.